All right, here we go. Athletes Forum podcast, week one, college football. We just wrapped up week zero of the college football season, and now we're about to officially kick it off. Now we have a nice, clean slate for you of games, a nice, you know, nice dish of games, right? So get your burgers, get your wings, get your beer, whatever you need to enjoy a college football weekend. This is what you're about to get, right? It's gonna be a phenomenal weekend. We're here to talk about it. Week one, all right. Week one is officially here, all right. And when there's a slew of games that we could definitely talk about. Obviously, the Texas Ohio State game, we'll dive into that. We've already talked about Nebraska Cincinnati. Make sure you check the video on that if you haven't done so. Same as Auburn Baylor, same as Georgia Tech, Colorado. Now, all these other games are going to be crucial. All right, we'll talk about Florida State, Bama, LSU, Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame. Maybe nibble a little bit in these three games as well, but it is a nice sled of games, right? Now, when we talk about the play and the parlay, came a little short last week, locker room. Came a little short due to Hawaii and Stanford. I should have known not to pick the over. I thought maybe we might have got a little bit more a sloppy type of game, but these two teams, nevertheless, they ran the ball. Ran the ball, slowed the clock down, gave a lot of mistakes, but we didn't hit on the parlay due to not taking the over, all right, over 53. But everything else hit. But of course, when parlays happens, that doesn't matter. All right, enough of that. Let's dive into these games a little bit. All right, first game we want to dive into something that's important. Yes, Texas versus Ohio State, big noon kickoff. Right, we're talking. The Julian Sayin and Arch Manning era officially kick off. It's going to be an exciting one. I think this is going to be a game that is going to tell us a little bit about these teams, but they're not going to be a finished product. We're going to know they're going to hit some bumps in the road along the way. All right, this is Archmania season's about to kick off, but also Julian saying, is he ready to take over the monster, the yacht, the mega mansion of a operation they have there up in Columbus, Ohio? We'll see how it all pans out, right? We'll see how it all pans out. Texas, 5 new starters on the offensive line. It's been noted, it's been documented. What does that look like? Apparently, this is the team that they've been building up for. This is Sarkisian's team officially now. All of his guys. We'll see how this is gonna elude. And they get it tested. They get tested up in Columbus, Ohio at 12, right? For big new kickoff. All right. Is Ohio, do they have a little bit of a hangover from the national championship game, right? Both teams, this is a new era that they're kicking off, right? So we're going to see how all this pans out. There's going to be a lot of feeling out during this process. I think the way the game goes, I think Arch Manning is going to have a good performance, right? Just because of the experience that he's had thus far. I think Julian Saban may be the one to start off a little slow, right? Who shows up? Is it going to be a Carnell Tate type of game because they're doubling covering, Jeremiah Smith, right? What does the run game look like for Ohio State? Who are these people? We're going to have to find out. They lost a lot on defense. Ohio State lost a lot of experience just in general. How does Matt Patricia overcome that? And how does he get the right guys in the play? My favorite player in college football, Caleb Downs, is back in that secondary. He'll be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. I'm excited to see how this pans out. So what's the play for this game? What's the play? I'm taking Texas on the money line. All right, I'm taking Texas on the money line. I think they're underdog right now at 1.5. I'm taking them on the money line, and I'm taking the over. Excuse me, the under in this game, under 47.5. Texas on the money line, under 47.5. We'll see how everything kicks off, but that's how I'm going to kick off my Saturday slate of games. Right. All right, a couple other games that we could dive into. One, this Bama Florida State game, right? Listen, I'll come out and say it. We favor the blue and orange in the state of Florida. Go Gators over here. I can't stand Florida State. I think they get their teeth kicked there, right? I don't think this is a good matchup for Florida State, right? You think about it. When you think about Florida State, they're going through an identity crisis right now. Gus Malzahn leaves UCF, comes and be the offensive coordinator, not the head coach, the offensive coordinator at Florida State. Mike Norvell, obviously this is a desperate season. He's under the hot seat, right? You bringing in Coach Tony White, defensive coordinator from Nebraska, to switch things in. All right, you bring in a new quarterback for Florida State. Was the Boston College quarterback Tommy Castellanos, right? Who ended up beating you guys right in your home opener, right? I remember watching that game, thinking you guys were going to bounce back versus Georgia Tech, but you didn't. Bill O'Brien went in there, and Tommy gave you the bang bang belt to butt whooping, right? Now he's your quarterback. Gus Malzahn has a mobile quarterback. He's used to playing Bama with a mobile quarterback, has some success with a mobile quarterback. What does this team look like? I think the defense is going to be stout. Whatever this team becomes, whatever their finished product is, I don't think they get there week one. I don't think this is going to be the finished product of Florida State. Bama, on the other hand, Bama got some dogs. This is the Ryan Grubb returns, who was the offensive coordinator of Washington, with the Seattle for a year. Now he's back with Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer now is officially got his feet wet under the Bama system. All right, you get past replacing Nick Saban now. This is your team. This team is stout. This team is loaded. This team has a lot of depth. This team is physical. Ty Simpson, that is your quarterback now. Ryan Williams, Heisman hopeful, right? I think Bama's going to go in there and show out, right? We've seen the story last year with Clemson, Georgia, right? I think Bama's going to go in there and show. I don't think Florida State has the personnel to beat a Bama, right? To beat a Bama, right? We've seen a lot from this Florida State team. We've seen them, right, not make the college football playoffs 2 years ago and then gave that shit a performance versus Georgia in the playoffs. We've seen them lose their opener with DJU at quarterback versus Georgia Tech and Ireland, and then losing to Boston College in your home opener, and then obviously having the season you had, right? I don't believe in Florida State. This is not that I'm a hater. I just think Bama's better, right? So I'm taking Bama minus a 13.5, and honestly, I might bump that line up a little bit, right? So we'll see how that pans out, but I think Bama takes it. All right, the next game I want to dive into. This one's going to be a doozy. Locker room, this one's going to be a doozy. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. LSU and Clemson, right? Line right now is at 3.5, over under 57.5. You know, both these teams trying to figure out, is this the year, right? Trying to figure out, is this the year that, you know, things change for them for better or worse, right? LSU is documented. Hasn't won a home opener since 2019, right? I'm kind of getting the same feels of LSU USC last year in regards going into this game, right? Is LSU ready to take the next step? How improved is that defense? We know they got a lot of transfers. They replaced the DB room. They got some linebacker depth, right? O-line, right? A whole new offensive line, right? Are they going to be physical enough? Because last year they wasn't. Harold Perkins is returning back on defense. Garrett Nussmeier, right? How has this LSU team changed? They've attacked the portal. We all know about that. How much better have they gotten? That's gonna be the crazy thing. We always used to talk about, is Texas back? Is LSU back? Right? When are the days of LSU coming back? That's what I want to know. On the Clemson side, 0-3 versus SEC last year. Texas, Georgia, South Carolina couldn't find a way to beat them. Right? Finally, Dabo nibbled in the portal a little bit, got himself a nice little toy at the receiver position, right? So we're going to see how he's being used. Cade Klubnik, this is a battle between maybe the 1 and number 2 quarterback picks of next year's draft, Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik, right? This is going to be a phenomenal one, right? Clemson also changed the defense a little bit, a veteran defense. A lot of guys returning, and you wouldn't go get Thomas Allen, the D coordinator at Penn State last year, right? So Clemson and LSU, we're going to learn a lot. Granted, it's only week one. We're going to learn a lot about these teams and their development and what they did in the offseason. Did it work? Did it work? This could be a potential national championship matchup. I'm not going to go that far, but we're going to see how everything pans out. So talk to me. What's the play here? The play is I'm going minus 3.5 with Clemson, and I'm going under 57. I think this is going to be a hard-fought defensive game. I don't think, you know, these offenses get going like that where they're humming. Right. So I think I'm going to take the under, but I'm going to take Clemson on the 3.5 on this game because I think they find a way to pull it out. All right. Last game we want to talk about, right? Sunday slate. Miami, Notre Dame. The Golden Domes versus the U. Listen, we already talked about it. I'm a believer in the blue and orange in the state of Florida, right? When it comes to this podcast. I'm just not a believer in Carson Beck. I like Miami more than I like Florida State. I will tell you that. I'm just not a believer in Carson Beck. Right now, although Miami does have a great offensive line. They replace all, their DBs. They bring in a former coach. I used to work with Coach Corey Heatherman to run your defense. I used to work with him at the University of Maine. I got a lot of respect for him. Right. So we'll see how all this pans out. You got to think about what you're replacing in the offense and the production, right? I don't think they're going to go out there and put up a 41-pointer like they did last year versus my Gators, right? Notre Dame's going to play a lot better defense, right? And what does Notre Dame look like? CJ Carr, right? You're gonna be leading the pack now at quarterback for this team, right? This is going to be a veteran defense going down to good old South Beach to play in the Orange Bowl, right? This is going to be an exciting one, and it's on Sunday night. God bless their souls. Jeremiah Love, how was he used this year? He was a little banged up towards the end of the year, battling some lower body injuries with the leg. How is he now, and how is he going to run against that Miami defense? We know he could jump over the moon, right? We'll see how everything pans out. This one's going to be an interesting one, too. I couldn't really get a feel on the line. Not going to lie to you. Couldn't really get a feel on it. So what I did is I took the under on the line, right? I think this game goes under 49.5. When you think about the last couple games when Notre Dame has played, you think about Texas A&M last year or the year before that, when they played Navy or when they played Ohio State. Their first game really wasn't a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be similar here. We don't know what Carson Beck is. We don't know what that injury is, right? With his elbow, whatever it is. We don't know if he's not going to come out throwing the ball a million times. So I think the best bet's the under in this game. So let's recap, right? For the play this week, for the parlay, we have Texas on the money line, right? And we have Texas under 47.5. We got Clemson minus 3.5, under 56.5. We got Bama minus 13.5. Easy money with that one. And then we got Notre Dame under 49.5 on Hard Rock Bet at Athletes Forum Podcast plus 44.92, $5 to win, $229. I like those. Locker room, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Some other games to look forward to this week, or the things that I'll be paying attention to. Syracuse, Clemson. That's a tricky game for not Syracuse. No, excuse me, not the Clemson. Syracuse, Tennessee. That's a tricky game for Tennessee. New quarterbacks coming in, right, with that whole saga. Don't sleep on Fran Brown and Syracuse, right? Couldn't really get a feel. Line was at 13.5. This game could go either way. I would, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would take Cuse plus a 13.5. TCU, North Carolina on Monday night. I'm going to go with Bill Belichick at home. You know, if there's anybody that's a master of preparation, it's him. North Carolina on the money line. I feel like that's an easy one. And then there was another one. No, I think that was it. Locker room. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. All right. Athletes Forum Podcast, where we talk college football. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about it.